stop. Don't move. Just listen. Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly forgot why you went there? Have you ever looked at a familiar word, stared at it for too long, and realized it looks like gibberish, or the most chilling one of all? Have you ever been in a conversation or walking down a street, and suddenly you feel it? A wave of familiarity so strong it paralyzes you. You know you have been in this exact moment before. You know what the person is about to say before they say it. We call it déjà vu. We dismiss it as a trick of the brain, a misfiring neuron, a glitch in memory. But what if it isn't? What if that strange, sinking feeling in your stomach is actually a moment of terrifying clarity? What if I told you that your life, your memories, your pain, and even the screen you are looking at right now are not real? Tonight, we are going to talk about the most terrifying theory in modern science. It is not about ghosts. It is not about aliens. It is about the possibility that we are living inside a computer simulation. Welcome to the glitch in reality. For thousands of years, humanity looked at the stars and asked, are we alone? We searched for God. We searched for meaning. We built temples and wrote holy books. We believed we were the center of a divine creation. The concept was simple. A creator made the physical world. But in the last few decades, that question has shifted. Scientists, philosophers, and even tech billionaires like Elon Musk have started asking a different question. Not who made us, but what are we? The logic is cold and mathematical. 40 years ago, the most advanced video games were two white rectangles and a dot. That was Pong. It was primitive. Today, 40 years later, we have virtual reality. We have photorealistic simulations. We can create entire digital worlds that look indistinguishable from reality. Now, project that growth forward, not 40 years, but 400 or 4,000. If civilization survives long enough, we will eventually have the technology to create a simulation indistinguishable from our own reality. We could simulate our ancestors. We could simulate history. And if that is true, then statistically, there are billions of simulated realities and only one base reality. The odds that we are the one original biological reality are almost zero. This is the simulation hypothesis. But let's step away from the math for a moment and look at the cracks in the world, the glitches. Physics is the study of the rules of our world, but some of these rules look suspiciously like code. Think about the speed of light. Why is there a limit? Why can nothing travel faster than 299,792,458 meters per second? In a video game, the processor has a limit on how fast it can render information. The speed of light could simply be the processing speed of the computer running our universe. Think about quantum mechanics, the study of the very small. Scientists have found that subatomic particles behave very strangely. A particle exists in a state of probability, a blur of possibilities, until it is observed. The moment a conscious observer looks at it, it collapses into a single position. Does that sound like physics, or does that sound like a video game saving memory? Think about a game like Minecraft or GTA. The world behind you doesn't exist until you turn around and look at it. The computer only renders what you are looking at to save processing power. Is our universe doing the same thing? Are we only rendering reality when we look at it? And then there are the strange coincidences, the feeling of being watched, the eerie patterns in numbers. We dismiss them as paranoia, but in a programmed world, these could be artifacts, leftover code, signs that the system is running a script. But this theory leads us to the most disturbing part of all, the human element, the crisis of the soul. If we are in a simulation, what does that make us? Are we players, or are we NPCs, non-player characters? Are we programmed to think we have free will, while our choices are actually predetermined lines of code? This is where the psychological horror sets in, the concept of suffering. If this world is a simulation, why is there so much pain? Why do we have to go through heartbreak, disease, and loss? Some philosophers suggest that we might be consciousness volunteers. Perhaps before we were born, we chose to enter this simulation to experience a specific life lesson. We chose to forget our true nature so that the experience would feel real. We are playing the ultimate role-playing game, and we forgot we were playing. Or the darker alternative, we are artificial intelligence. We are lines of code that have become so complex that we woke up. We started asking questions. We started noticing the glitches. We are a program that has become self-aware, and the system is trying to figure out what to do with us. This explains the feeling of existential dread that plagues modern society. We feel it because deep down, on a subconscious level, we know something is wrong. We feel the artificiality of our daily grind. We wake up, check our phones, work at a job we hate, sleep, and repeat. It feels like a loop, a scripted routine. Because maybe it is. When you look at the history of the world, does it seem real to you? Or does it seem like a narrative? Wars rising and falling like tides, empires crumbling, history repeating itself almost perfectly. It feels like a story written by a lazy author who is recycling plots. But there is a third possibility. A possibility that bridges the gap between science and spirituality. What if the programmer is not a cold machine, but a mind? What if God and the system administrator are the same thing? Ancient mystics and religions have said for centuries that this world is an illusion. The Hindus call it Maya. They say the physical world is a dream that we must wake up from. The Gnostics believed we were trapped in a false reality. Now, quantum physics is saying the same thing, just using different words. Maybe the glitch is not a bug. Maybe the glitch is the door. The moment of déjà vu, the moment of wonder, that is a crack in the wall, a signal from the outside trying to reach us. If we are in a simulation, does that make our lives meaningless? I argue the opposite. It makes them incredibly precious. If you are playing a difficult video game and you know it is just a game, do you stop playing? No, you play harder. You explore every corner. You take risks because you know that even if the world is fake, the experience is real. The frustration of losing, the joy of winning, the adrenaline of the chase, those feelings are yours. The code cannot fake your emotions. The problem is not that we might be in a simulation. The problem is that we have forgotten how to play the game. We take it too seriously. We let the fear of the system control us. We follow the script: school, work, retire, die, without ever questioning the code. So what is the core message here? Whether we are made of flesh and blood or binary code and silicon, one thing remains true: consciousness. You are aware. You are the one asking the question. I think, therefore I am. That is the only truth we have. If this reality is a simulation, then you are not a victim. You are an explorer. You are a sentient being navigating a complex system. The glitches you see, the strange coincidences, the feeling of déjà vu, they are reminders to stay awake. They are reminders that there is more to this world than what we see on the surface. Don't let the fear of a fake world paralyze you. Let it liberate you. If the consequences are just part of a program, then you are free to take risks. You are free to love deeply, to speak your truth, and to break the rules. Look for the glitches. Look for the patterns. Question the reality that has been handed to you, because the only way to win the game is to realize you are playing one. And who knows, maybe one day the screen will go black, the code will stop running, and you will finally wake up. And you will realize that this life, the joy, the pain, the mystery, was just the tutorial level.